Hello and welcome to Lex Simple. Here we discuss fashion, lifestyle books, and the occasional beauty bits. If these things interest you, please consider subscribing. Now today, we're going to discuss trends. Are they necessary? Let's get started. I've broken these down into three categories. The first trend I call shocking trends. They're here for a good time, but only for a short time. They look great on the runway and Instagram, but in real life, questionable. You know these are a shocking trend when you look back at some of these trends and you ask yourself, who actually wore them? I have a few examples for you, just to make this point clear. MC Hammer pants. Really? Who's wearing these today? And how about men in these jumpsuits? Let's hope this doesn't come back around. Number two, highlighted classics. These are really, really simple. They're like houndstooth, neutrals. These items never really go out of style. It's just that particular season, they're highlighted. Everyone's emphasizing them. These are the ones that are easy to get on board with. And lastly, modern cuts. These are just the silhouettes. Are we doing A-line skirts or pleated skirts? Are we doing structured blazers or oversized blazers? Are we doing cigarette pants or flares? The easiest way to keep up with this trend is to just buy the most current style of jeans. Okay, so how about we talk about the good? The good thing about this trend is it makes that particular item very accessible. Once it hits the runway, every other store is going to start producing this. So where in the past it may have been difficult to find, let's say the color lavender or sage. Now you'll see it everywhere. Let's talk about, usually animal print is normally on print. Animal print is normally on trend, right? But what about zebra? That specific trend is not on trend every year. But when it becomes on trend, not only are you going to find it in neutrals, in tops and bottoms, but you also see quirky colors as well, like let's say turquoise. Another good thing is it guides you. So whenever the trends come out for the season, it's great to take a look at them, decide what you want to participate in, and the first thing that you do is shop your closet. Because if you buy what you love when you love them, you'll almost always have something every season that's on trend. Now let's talk about the things that are not so good about trends. Trends, when something becomes a trend, it can ruin it. For example, 5 years ago, everyone loved the Bauman blazer. It's a beautiful structured blazer, a little too structured for my taste, but it's a very beautiful blazer. Do you know how many people have gotten rid of that blazer since it became a super trend? And how about, let's say, the Gucci Marmont belt? There's nothing wrong with that belt. It's a beautiful belt. Is it really my taste? Not necessarily, but I can see the beauty in it. Now, whenever I see a video on 10 things that are now out of style, the Gucci Marmont belt makes like the top 5. Now, the one good thing about it being a trend and going out of style is if you really love this trend, buy it anyways, because you'll be able to find it secondhand or to go on sale. So if you really love it, snag it, snatch it up at that particular time and hold on to it. Now, another thing that's not so great, when something becomes a trend, and I do mean a super trend, it is hard to find. It sells out everywhere. Let's talk about the Mina Moati shoes. Do you know how hard it is to find, or it was to find that shoe in your actual style? How about the Bottega pouch when it first came out? That was very difficult to locate. So I have a few pieces of advice in regards to trend. And number one, and I stated this a little bit earlier, if you buy what you like, when you like it, you will always have something that's on trend. And I have an example for you. I was shopping, I don't know, maybe a couple years ago, and I spotted this quirky purse. And I said to myself, this purse is beautiful. I don't know where I will wear it or when I'm going to wear it, but I know I can wear it. I'm going to show you. Now, take this for an example. This purse has a lot going on. It is an under the arm bag, which a few years ago wasn't in style. It has fringe. This is probably the only thing in my closet that has fringe. And it's a beaded bag, and it's a small bag. To top that, it also has that oil slick metallic color that is all over the runways right now. Buy what you like, when you like it. Number 2, straddle the line when it comes to a trend. So the trends that are very high fashion, try to stay somewhat in the middle. For example, the Frankie Shot shoulder muscle tee came out and everyone went crazy. Now, that's a beautiful muscle tee if that's your style, but consider maybe if shoulder pads aren't your thing, or you want to be able to wear something past the next couple seasons, consider getting a muscle tee without the shoulder pads. Because when the trend is done, you can easily throw on that muscle tee with jeans. This trend is very difficult to wear, especially if you already have structured shoulders. But just like we look at the 80s with the big puff sleeves and the shoulder pads and think, why did they wear them? In 5 years or so, we're gonna look back on this decade and say the exact same thing. So I caution you, before you just dive in head first on trend, consider taking the soft approach. This dress that I'm wearing is by Maggie Marilyn. I don't love shoulder pads, but this dress has slight shoulder pads, gives a little bit of structure, and I love it. And I'll be able to wear this for years to come. Lastly, even if something isn't on trend and you love it, like I was saying earlier, you can grab it at a phenomenal deal, secondhand or on sale, but all you have to do is put it away and archive it. Well, first of all, you can wear that item if you want to. It's not a problem. No one can dictate what looks good and when you should wear it. But let's say trends are important to you. Archive that item, put it away, and after some time, people will forget it was a trend, and they'll look at it and say, that's cute and unusual. Or the second thing will happen is you put it away and you forget about it, and then you pull it back out because now it's on trend again. So let's talk about, and this is last, about how the pandemic has affected the trends. Are they even necessary anymore? So brands would predict trends a whole year in advance, right? What the pandemic has taught us is that trends are very moody. It's about the climate and what has happened. So with the pandemic, everyone's lifestyle abruptly changed. And so if you heavily invested in a particular trend, that trend would have already passed you by the time you emerged again. They had whole inventories of seasons that couldn't be sold at full price because they were last season. And so be careful how you invest in a trend. Just dip your feet in every season or so, pick up a few pieces, and your closet will always feel modern. This has definitely been the time when people can look in their closet and say, I have a closet full of clothes and nothing to wear. Because when your lifestyle abruptly changes, let's say you go out all the time and you have a lot of going out clothes or sparkle, or you flew for business all the time. So you had a lot of executive clothing. Let's say you were never at home, so you didn't consider things like comfortable loungewear. The pandemic showed you that you need to be able to adjust your closet on a dime. And so now when we take our time and we buy according to our needs, we will have what we need at the time. Well, that about wraps it up. Thank you for watching the video. Please feel free to subscribe and comment below. We would all love to learn and grow. Until later, look simple.